Taking us higher. Step inside, don't be shy tonight. We're connecting hearts live on the mic. Let's talk, let's talk, let's talk. Everybody come and let's talk, let's talk. We got stories, let's talk. We got stories, let's talk. Let's talk. Ooh, yeah. Let's talk. Ooh, yeah.
Hello and welcome to That Talk with Tariro. The guest that we have on this show today, it's been 2 years trying to pin him down to come to the show, and it's been a struggle. So what an honor to have him on the show today. This is none other than media veteran, media guru, media entrepreneur, media everything. That's Tich Mataz. Welcome to the Talk with Tariro.
Thank you.
Finally,
You said 2 years. I've been trying to get to your show for the last 5 years.
that's a good one. Thank you so much for finding time to come and chat with us. Why it was important for us to actually just invite you and want to have this conversation with you is that looking at you, you've remained constant and relevant across different generations and media eras. The name Tich continues to ring a bell. What has been the key to you staying impactful and connected with audiences over the years, not just in Zimbabwe, but I would say globally?
Interesting question, because I think when I got into media, it was from a point of curiosity. You know, Tishikura, things were analog at the time. And one of the most exciting pieces of furniture in any home was the TV.
Yes.
You know, it brought life, and it brought excitement, happiness, and information dissemination. So as a young person, you know, particularly in Ndakakura life it's, and when we troublesome boys.
Yes.
At the time, you know, perhaps have one TV set muraini mese. So it was an occasion. Taigeza kwenda kuno. Pa next door kunoona vanhu vachibuda pa television. Yes. You know. So that interest got me thinking as to how the concept of communication worked. And at the time, most of the content we used to consume was obviously from overseas. That's why I even got to travel to the UK and the States at a very young age, because I wanted to know, saka vana vatinenge tiona vari ku Miami, vari ku London. Wakamboita sei? Nokuona ukoko. So it got me traveling at a very early age. And I think one thing that has kept me going is I've always been fond of stretching my capability and my capacity. And so whenever I'm doing what I need to do within the industry, I tend to look around. What are they doing over there?
Yes.
How can I improve, you know, what I have at hand? And with that, I've realized that, you know what, the fact that the media has now gone digital, it's a whole new ball game. And I think we've been given a new lease of life. In new audiences as well. And the challenge now between you and me, we've been at it for a very long time. When we were first in the media, there was one or two platforms,
Exactly.
radio or television, you know. Now cell phones, computers, all kinds of digital devices are, you know, a stage made for us. And I think that has kept me going.
Yeah. And when you're looking at your journey, what moment would you say this is what changed the trajectory of my career?
There are possibly 2 or 3 poignant circumstances that expanded my vision of broadcasting. When I first met Nelson Mandela,
Yes.
I was a young man. And so we went as part of the SABC to do an interview with the old man. And because I'd done so many things in South Africa, you know, he greeted me with a great smile
Wow.
and a great embrace. He said, Tich, you young man, I like you on television. And I thought to myself, a whole Nelson Mandela knows who I am. And then also when I went to participate and cover the World Cup in 1994, I was in France, and then I realized that the fact that I'd gone into France as a media personality, I started doing and trading at a whole different level.
Yes.
You know, I learned a lot from the French media individuals and personalities there. Then I realized that, you know, there's a lot that I can perhaps also teach other young media individuals and personalities in my country.
Yeah. And when we look at Tich Mataz, I'm sure you can see from the flow of the questions, we don't want to hear the things that people already know. People have interviewed you about.
Yeah.
We want to find these other nuances that are to do with Tich. As an individual, you've worn so many hats. We've known you as a radio presenter, Tich the media personality, Tich the entrepreneur, he's a mentor, he's a father. Which role of all the hats that you have worn, you'd say this has really taught a lot about yourself and why?
The most important hat is being a father.
Being a father.
And I want to respond to you in this way. When I was a lot younger, my father was a businessman, successful at the time. etc. And even as a successful man, what I yearned and really prayed for at the time was just to spend quality time with my father.
Yeah.
But I got my dad
Exactly.
So I always said to myself, when I become a father, I want to be able to present myself as someone who can listen, participate in the lives of my children.
Yes.
I'm very close to my father now because I'm Daraga. In fact, he bothers me. He's always calling me. Do you realize, you know, when I called you, you're working. I'm the one who's working.
The tables are turned.
The tables are turned. So for me, I've always wanted to be a good father.
Yeah.
Rather than the other hats I wear. And that's far, I think I've done the best that I can.
Yeah.
I guess if you would ask my kids, I'd possibly say, hey, you know, he could be improved in this area and that area. But
what is it about fatherhood that you'd say you value most besides what you alluded to earlier on?
When my father wasn't there, I learned a lot of lessons from other men, you know, who played the role that he should have played. And the good thing was I come from a very big and loving family. I think that's the word. Loving family. The uncles realized, you know what I mean? And some of the experiences that I had with my uncles, I would have rather have had those experiences with my father.
With your father.
Yeah.
We will continue with this discussion, Tich. He is unpacking for us what excites him about being a father. Join us after this short break. Welcome back as we continue on the show with the Mataz Touch. Yes, before the break, you were talking about fatherhood, what it has taught you.
Yeah. The interesting thing, I had a conversation with at lunch with my son, who's now become a father, the other day. And he looked at me and he said, you guy, respect for you.
Wow.
He said, respect for you. He says, now I realize how difficult it is to be a father. Yes. You know what I mean? We're the most important cog of any given family, but we're the least celebrated. Was baba sarau.
Yes.
Kana bachido parudo akazvimbara. Motikari ifana kuzotengwa imwe apa. Ko project yati kubuilda mapapi toda kupinda kamba macho 2 years muchikora muchiko vakachita
tenderera
iwe pane chito wakapedza sei, you know what I mean? So fatherhood is a very critical position for most societies.
Yes.
And one of the things I cringe about these days is a lot of men are men,
Yeah.
but are not fathers.
They are not. Thank you.
They are not
Yeah.
geared up for fatherhood. And sometimes I don't even think it's their problem. It's because they've never been taught, or they don't know what a father is. You know, they can be biological,
Yes.
but they're not fathers.
Yeah. A lot of men are men. They are men within families.
Yeah.
But they are not fathers. Thought-provoking there. Let's go back to the issue of the media industry. You spoke about the earlier days. It was analog.
Yeah.
You know, I started in television, briefly radio, but I know with you guys in radio, there was this Jogutu Waiti which editor program, mo visa, o cut, mo cheka,
Yakaitori magi on work chapter.
osunganidza, uchiziva kuti wedhiri ragumira apo, mo drawer, mo daiso, mo batanidza, kuti conversation iflow.
Iflow. Rangatori bas.
Yeah.
And wakakarasa ka tape kako atoma one.
Atoma one.
Audio splicing we used to call it.
Yeah.
On reverb. Now I'm showing my age. I keep telling people I'm a young man. They don't believe me.
But when I'm looking at the media industry now, it has really evolved and changed dramatically. What would you say excites you now when you're looking at the media landscape? And what would you say, this concerns me, when you're looking at where we are now?
Very important question. The media has been opened up to everyone. But you know the funny thing, Tari, is not everybody is a media person.
Thank you.
You know, either born with it or without it.
Yeah.
Even if you go to school, I got a 10 degree,
Exactly.
and the reason why you are who you are today is because you've got the gifting for media. I find that they've relegated media to yellow bones, kupoza, you know, your posterior hair. And for what it really is, they're not doing justice to media.
Yeah.
I know that some other areas and countries are beginning to regulate media, and it's an important thing. I think Africa needs to really look at that as well.
Yes.
In China, they've started regulating influencers. If you're an influencer, no matter how good or big you are, if you are talking nonsense, they'll shut you down.
Exactly.
Because people are the information and the content that they consume.
Yeah.
If you give people nonsense, they'll become nonsensical.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And we're slowly experiencing that.
Yes.
I can't even say slowly. That's what we have now.
That's what we have now.
Yeah. And now with the issue of technology as well, linking to what you've spoken about, where now almost everyone has become a journalist.
Yeah.
Everyone is now a podcaster. Everyone. How is that?
But without the ethos, you know, when we went to school, journalism, you know, was on the basis of facts, integrity, proper communication, and it had respect for humanity.
Yes.
My comrades, you know what I mean? Yeah.
And the regulation that you spoke about, you would say that that's what would... Are we able to even do that with the proliferation of social media and all? How do we bring in those controls?
It can be done. It should begin at policy level.
Yeah.
You know, once the policy is put in place, because communication is really the playing field of, you know, of communication companies like Ana Econet, Nana Network. I think that should really be the entry point where they therefore say, if you are a user and you are on our platform and you're cyberbullying others, they must shut you down.
Exactly. And when people look at Tich, they see Tich, the successful giant, and no one really sees or concentrates on the struggles. What is one challenge that or setback that shaped you to the person that you are today?
Yeah. Oh, that's an important question. I made money at a very, very young age, and I didn't even know what money meant. or what you were supposed to do with it.
Yeah.
25 years, I had millions. And I would wake up in the morning and just think, what do I buy next? Wow. And I'm thinking to myself, if I knew the things I know now,
Yeah.
with access to facilities and the money at the time, I would really have done things so differently. But then again, it's all a learning curve, isn't it?
Yeah.
When you're young, you're attracted by the lights. It's no paying.
Exactly.
And it also it's a good feeling to be able to drive a fancy car, go to a fancy restaurant,
Yes.
wear expensive clothes. But other cultures don't see that as success. Most cultures don't see that as success.
Yeah.
The elements of that can be encapsulated in one's success. But that is not the goal. The goal is not to have the biggest car, the biggest house, and so on and so forth.
Yes.
I think that over time I've realized that success for any given individual, it is your capacity to unlock value for others apart from yourself. I know you do a lot of work with other younger women within the industry. That is success.
Yeah.
Not your huge mansion and your many different cars.
Yeah.
Yes, those are things that give you comfort, but they're not necessarily success.
Yeah.
And so I would hope that with the grace of God, when I leave this earth, I want people to look back and say, that guy, Pambana Blast Piper, he did this, he did that, and these are the results. Not good anga ni mazimota, but anga sigete blaze.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, we'll continue with our discussion after the break.
Ooh, yeah, let's talk. Ooh, yeah. Ooh, yeah, let's talk. Ooh, yeah.
We continue our discussion with Tich Mataz. So there's a young Tich who is making money at that young age. What message would you give them? Learning from your mistakes, where you were saying, reflecting now when I made that money, if I knew what I know now.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what would you tell a young boy who's actually already making it now and still would face the same challenges or dilemma that you then faced, where later on, upon reflecting, you're saying, I wish I had?
Tari, the subject of money is a subject indeed.
Yeah.
What $1,000 can do to somebody with the right kind of information, is totally different to what $1,000 can do. Kuna blaz, power, cash, I can buy the whole party champagnes. And so I also had opportunities to interact with different business people from different backgrounds and different countries. I remember at the time I had started a business in South Africa, and one of my partners was a Greek guy. And he said to me, Tich, people remember you not by just your name, but by the properties you leave behind.
Wow.
And that thing has rung in my mind for years.
Wow.
He says, the reason why we remember Narcissus John Rhodes, Panama Roads.
Yes.
So you won't forget.
You won't forget them.
Pane my location, I don't know, Kwa Roads, And I hope that African success can begin to embrace that. Kuti, let's build.
Yeah.
Africa has not started building. I know, I'm sure, you well traveled. When I first went to China 20 years ago, and if you go to China now, it's totally different. When I first went to Dubai 20 years ago, airport, so, and what Dubai is today. When I went to Singapore 20 years ago, and what it is today.
Yeah.
But I went to Ghana 20 years ago, went to Ghana 10 years back, Yes, there've been a few changes, but not at the rate we
magnitude,
should really be, developing.
Yeah. And in an era where almost everyone is trying to build a personal brand online, what advice would you give, especially to young people who want to make a name for themselves within the business environment as well as in media?
Pertinent question. First, know who you are.
Yeah.
Don't be Tariq. Don't be Tich. Don't be Peggy. Be yourself.
Yeah.
And one thing a lot of people don't know is they don't know who they are.
Yeah.
It's a funny question. Urumborani.
Yeah.
And people will say, I don't Mary. I didn't say what is your name.
Exactly.
That Urumborani. And very few people can immediately, present who they are, upon being asked that question.
Yeah. And if you could share one lesson that you would say, this is what I've learned around issues of leadership, relationships, success, what would it be?
Don't take grace for granted.
Wow.
And the window of opportunity is truly a window.
Yeah.
If you don't act in time, the next time you come back, it'll be closed.
Yeah.
And I've learned a lot. There's this opportunity, but
Yeah.
also manje, when your cash started to run dry.
Exactly.
They're not picking up your phones, and the season is gone.
Yeah. And elephant in the room, AI. And how it's...
I'm glad you asked that question.
Yeah.
When people started talking about AI 5-10 years ago, Africa was at the same level as the rest of the world. Today, AI, there is no AI platform in Africa. There is no AI relevance in Africa. People are fast moving towards AI, and Africa is still, takamire.
Exactly.
Takamire. I've often thought, Kutizo, we should really be pushing forward AI, because that concept alone, is very good for Africa. Africa with its plurality, different languages, different people, different cultures. If you create an AI environment that can quickly regalvanize or recalculate or even, change Swahili into Chichewa,
Yes.
Africa would sooner become one continent than later. But
And what do you believe is the biggest opportunity for young Zimbabweans today? And how can they position themselves to take advantage of those opportunities?
The biggest companies in the world have global reach because they have the global products. WhatsApp is a product, is a global product. The internet, Starlink, you name it. And those opportunities are still very rife in Africa. And if we don't move quick enough, we'll still have the colonizer coming back wearing a black face to recolonize using these institutions and these platforms as well. So my cry really is, and I also want to challenge governments. China is an interesting country in that it is geared at creating success stories out of its own people. If you've got a brilliant idea, they don't care who you are. As long as you're Chinese, come to us. We'll give you the support and the money. You know what I mean? And Africa should begin to do that.
Yeah. And as we wrap up, 30 seconds, when the story of Tich Mataz is told years from now, what legacy would you like people to remember you for?
I guess I want them to remember me as an individual who saw an opportunity, went after it, did the best that he could do, and left something for others behind.
Indeed, leaving something for others behind. That's Tich Mataz for you. Until we meet again next week, it's goodbye.
We got stories, let's talk. Let's talk. Ooh, we got stories, let's talk.
Morning light and the cameras rolling, people smiling, conversations flowing.
From the city streets to the worldwide view.